So, were you paying attention to data modeling? Do you know what you're doing? Or should we do a refresher? I think we'll do a refresher and we'll extend, because that's how we always do it in data analytics. That's what we're always doing, expanding and growing on what we've done before. Welcome along. My name's Ross, the creator and founder of Geordie Consulting and Geordie Intelligence, the YouTube channel you're watching right now. What we've done over the last 3 weeks is kind of cut together what goes into a data model and then how we start to do it. But the problem with all that is there's a lot there and it doesn't necessarily make sense, because it's sometimes better to go backwards and sometimes better to go forwards, and oftentimes it's kind of better to kind of take your time. So what we're going to do today is go back through and refresh and push on and extend on what we've done before. But let's do that properly. And this time, of course, go through, follow through, and don't be afraid to go back and watch the previous weeks or ask questions down below and say, look, help out. This doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, always happy to help. So the last few weeks, this is pretty much what we've done, isn't it? Oh, crying out loud. Okay, we've built this model. And this is the structure that we put together, wasn't it? We've got the idea of having, let's have a proper fact table, okay, the scores. So we're going to build a proper fact table. And I think that's the right thing to do, even though the structure of the data that we've got now doesn't support it. But because it doesn't support it, I think what we're going to do is drop the date side. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's bring this over here now. Oh, wait. See, I was prepared. This is like my Blue Peter moment. So we're going to cross that out. We're not going to get the averages or anything like that we were talking about. I was thinking about, let's do it. But it might be something we look at later for it. Okay, so for now, what we know we can do and what we need to be ready to do is, why is this not? My goodness me. Okay, it's getting the averages by business type. It's getting the averages by area. And it's getting the count of businesses by whatever it is we want to do. Okay. And then from there, we're going to be able to unpick and put together the scores, the fact table of scores. We're going to build a scores dimension, because we need to be able to look these up. And that also helps cope with the issue that we've got around non-numeric values in the rating values. So how we can do that and make that work. That's something we need to do as well. And then obviously we're going to have this establishment to scores fact dimension relationship, which will in practice be a one-to-one, but I'm going to force it to be a one-to-many. So the establishment could have many scores. And that would then help us in the future if we started to work that out, because there are questions there. It's not just as simple as, oh, well, we can do this. We can take copies and copies and copies and see over time how the scores change. Because for an establishment, how does the ID flow through? So is it the local authority ID, or is it the food standards or the food hygiene rating ID that's going to come through? I don't know. I suspect it would be the local authority ID, in which case, do our local authority IDs work, or do we need to do something to flag local authority and then the ID to bring it together, so build a compound key? These are things that we need to work through. We've got the question of course, if management changes, is it a new establishment, so scores should reset? Or is it a case of, well, that establishment or that rating ties to a building, in which case, how do we make sure that that building, food unit, whatever it is right? So there's a lot there, and there's a lot of things to work through. And those items that we're talking about now, this is where we're getting into business logic and the importance of business logic in any analytics project, because we never know 100% what is going to be done today or tomorrow. That's not our job. Our job is to be able to analyze based on the rule set that the client has. This is business intelligence. If you're going to try and establish and build a rule set and support the development of a new rule set, that's more data science. Okay? It's kind of, these are things that we need to understand the difference of. We focus primarily on building that data foundation. That's what I do. That's what I focus on. I think that's the important thing. This is what BI is. This is what Power BI is about supporting. That ability to have a standardized thing that allows the exploration based on the set rules of the engine. Nothing crazy about that. Okay, and then also we're going to have these two extra sub-dimensions here for local authority and for establishment type. And you're going to say, well, local authority, isn't there going to be a one-to-one as well? Because everything, oh, sorry, one-to-many, but yeah, everything's only going to be in Newcastle, isn't it? We're going to expand. Why shouldn't we just expand to the whole of the North East with this? Let's do that. Okay? So I've kind of got some plans in terms of what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. But I'm still waiting to see, what do you think? Is this right? Is this making sense to you? Let me know down below. Okay? And don't forget, drop us a like, subscribe to the channel. Really important for us. So what we've got so far is this built here. Okay, and what we need to do, the missing piece here, because we're always progressing. So if we come through to transform data, what we've got is we've got this hidden table here. Okay, and this is the one where we're getting the XML file. Okay, and then we're producing, here's the raw table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click here and I'm going to copy it. Okay, because what we've got over, let me just do this before. Okay, so we've got here a new file. Let's just get rid of this so I don't get confused by them. Don't say that, right? Okay, I've got a new file here. If we zoom in, you can see I've got the establishment details. Lovely, just as it was before. So this is going to pull through Newcastle because this is what it's doing. But, okay, I'm going to change this and make this into a function. So what do we need to do to make this a function? What we need to do is give it a parameter. It's that simple. So we're going to give it a parameter to run through and process. Okay? So what we'll do first is we've got to manage parameters. We're going to create a new parameter. Bring this in here, and I'm going to call this P, just lowercase p for parameter. And this is going to be XML file name. Okay? And it's going to be text. You always have to give them a text value. Right? And then what we need to do is give it a default value. And I should have selected that before I did that. I'm going to put for now. Okay, and just click OK. And then what I will do is come back to here, and on the first line, I will pick this. Okay, because what we're going to do is replace this with this. Okay, so it helps if it's got the right value. So now we can paste this in here. So we've got a value. We're going to come through to here. We're going to come back to here. And we're going to replace this. We don't need to put it in quotation marks because it's going to be a parameter. So it's going to be p XML file name. Come out of there. Does that work? It's worked. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay. So, well, big wows. Whoop-de-doo, Ross. What have you done now? What we've got, though, is we've built this. So we've built this nice start point that we've called it. Okay, let's delete this column. I don't think the name as well, do we? I'm going to do that. Remove that. Yep, okay. So what we've built is this. Okay, now this is another XML file, okay, from the local authority API. And it gives you, here's a list of the local authorities and the XML files that they have. So if we come out of here and we can kind of follow through, it's a bit difficult to read, I know. So step one, kind of expand it, gives us here they are, all the breakdown of all the files that you've got. We've said I'm going to filter it by the Northeast, which just this is our local authorities. I've expanded the email for the local authority, and we've expanded a couple of other fields like the date created and the last update date. And then we've done some remove columns and changed some types. Okay, nothing crazy with this. But the key thing, what it's got, and the nice thing that we have in here is the file name. So we need to make sure that's text because we've got a text parameter, haven't we? So we'll go through, we'll finish doing all these. This is text. URL is going to be text. For any name is text. Okay, so we've changed the names for all those column types now. And then we've got these lovely fields here, which match the format for the file we've just built. So we've taken something, we've built it. Oh, that's great. How do we upscale it? probably going to be make it a function, isn't it? That's one of the easiest ways to do these things. So we're going to make this a function. What do we need to do to make it a function? Presumably, there's lots of really complicated, convoluted code that we've got to write to say, this is now a function, isn't it? There's going to be lots of hard, difficult things to do. So we're going to right click on it and we're going to say, create a function. And it says, well, give me a name. So it's going to be f for function, get LA ratings. Okay. The function is here. Okay. So all we need to do now is say, for this start point, where we've got all this, let's add a column to it. Okay. So instead of add a normal column, we're going to invoke a custom function. So we're going to invoke the custom function. It's going to be, let's call this current ratings. Which function do we want to use? This f get LA ratings. What column value should we use? We can put, as I say, we could put text, we could put column value. We're going to pick column values and it'll say, well, these are the text column values that you've got. So we'll pick file name and we're going to click OK. And it'll go away and it'll think about it. So information is required about data privacy. And it's going to say, well, you've got these two here. These two are public, but for you, obviously we could turn around and say, well, this is organizational data. This is something like that. In practice, you can go up the hierarchy, as it were, so from public to organizational to private, but you can't go private to organizational or organizational to public. Yeah, kind of is generally the way it goes. You can tick to ignore privacy. It's bad habits. Typically, most of your business stuff will be organizational. Private would be if there's something next level within it, like HR data or that sort of thing. So you can use trusted scopes. Very useful. Okay, but we'll say organizational for both. As I say, both these are public sources, so public would be fine. But I'm going to say, for the sake of this, and just to help you with good habits, we'll put organizational. I'm going to hit save. Okay, so now it'll go away and it'll think about it. And there we go. We've got now, if we scroll over here, and I apologize because it's zoomed in. See, we now, my goodness me, we have tables. We've got a couple of errors here where it's not been happy. So we might have a look and see what those errors are. Let's zoom out, see what it says. Oh, it says address line 1 on the table was not found, which is fine. So we can see we've got in here, if we come back, establish it, details. And what this will be is this will relate to this step here, where we have in here something saying address line 1 is going to be text. So I'm going to remove this. Okay. And then what it'll say is, those that don't have address line 1, you're not looking to find an address line 1 column, okay, which is always the worst thing to be doing. So if we come back now to here, and the nice thing with this is we can see I've made that change simply. It's then folded that through into my function. Okay, so if I come in here and go to the advanced editor, it'll go, oh, don't edit the function. Okay, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, but what we can do is we can see if we expand this a little bit, or that's Control A, Control C. Let's go to Notepad. There it is. Bring Notepad through to here. Okay, we can see it's in there, and there's those change type steps, and address 1 is gone. Okay, so what you're doing when you build these functions is you get these, a whole folder is created. If you need to make changes to the function, do it in the sample file. Okay, and the way they've built it is in such that you've got a sample file here. You can go through any changes you make here are automatically embedded into the function. They automatically flow through, and then they will flow through into wherever the function is used. Sometimes it's not as instant as you would like, and you need to go in and do a refresh, but that's certainly the way it's designed to work. And by do a refresh, we come home, hit refresh preview. Really not that difficult. Hit refresh preview, come across here. We're still seeing some of these are bad. Let me hit refresh all. And then let's see what it's saying is the error now. Address line 3. Okay, so it looks like it's these address lines it's not happy about. So we can come back through in the change type, and in many ways we could just say, do you know what, I'm just going to delete change type, because the type isn't going to be respected. Because of the nature of what it's doing, when it expands it through, we lose all that type information anyway. So I've just removed it from there. We can click on the function, we can see it's not doing that. It's going to the in, opening the table, and that's it. Come back through to here. If we scroll across here, everything is now showing correctly. So it's all flowed through. And we can see, if we click on it, we can see here is the establishments for a particular area. Okay, so it's all there. Everything's done. Brilliant, perfect. So the next step I need to do is going to be to expand here. I'm going to right click. Sorry, not right click, yeah. Yes. Or do we? I think we stop here. I'm just thinking through. So what I'm thinking is, because we've got local authority information, which is one of the things we want, which is this dimension here. We have this dimension. It's all here. And we've then got this, which is going to go in to form the source for the rest. So I think what we should do is bifurcate at this point, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, this already isn't loading, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to reference this start point, and this is going to be local authorities, okay, which is one of our dimensions that we talked about. Then lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through here and I'm going to delete this column, and then I'm just going to set these two to both be dates. Okay, so when was it created and when was it last updated? We don't care about the time. There we go. Start point again, let's go to reference this. Let's reference this. And then what we're going to do is this time we're going to delete everything else. Okay, actually we'll do it the other way, won't we? So let's go and right click here and remove other columns. Okay, and then we can expand these tables. We can see all the information that we could possibly want is going to be here. So we can do this. We've got that information that's come through. Now we said, wasn't it, it was address line 1 that we had some errors in, wasn't it? So let's see. So there's definitely some errors in here still in the way it's showing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'm going to select to keep the rows here. And this is where we're getting some data clean. What did I click? Clicked the wrong thing. I wanted to keep errors. Okay, so there aren't any errors, that's fine. So it's just there's too many distinct values. Okay, and likewise, I'm sure it'll be the same with whatever else we've got. And if we scroll further over here, we can see we've got everything in that we'd want. Okay, excellent. All right. So I'm going to call this right, first I need to do this. Let me just do this first. So I was going to get the ratings values from here. So we've got source for this going to be here. And then what we want to do is remove the other columns from here. Insert. Just double checking how this is working. Yep. Okay, excellent. So we've got now a ratings image, which has got our lovely ratings here. And this is the bit that we need to work through. So we need to work out a better way of doing this. So we need to put in, so what we need to do then to get rid of this is let's set these to be all the right columns. So we're going to say this is, well, this needs to be text, doesn't it? This is text. That's that and that's that. So what we're going to do is right click here. We're going to duplicate this column. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change this to be whole number. We'll see we're going to get some errors. And then what we're going to do is right click and we're going to replace errors with null. Okay, so now what we have here, we rename this, we've got the rating int. Okay, probably the easiest way of doing it is that way. Right? So we've now got a column we can use to do the average. If you remember, in the original one I was using the ordinal, but I think that's not great because we have to then exclude other ratings from there. So we should be able to do average ratings, but we should still have included in here these other values. So we'll see, make sure this works, but I think this is going to be the right way to go. So we've got that. What we brought through was query 2, which is another XML file here, which brings in the other support ratings that go into it. And then we'll just split those out into different things from hidden query 2. We've got this. We've now got, then let's go back to our set point, where we now then say, well, what we're going to do is we need to build the establishment, okay, because we've got everything else, haven't we? So we need the establishment, and we need the score, and then there was something else. What have I forgotten? I've forgotten something, and it's doing my head in now. Okay, so let's move on. Let's keep going with this. All right, so we've got the IDs here, and if you remember, these were the 2 IDs that I said potentially we've got stuff we need to work through. So we've got this FHRS ID, and then we've got this local authority business ID, and it's not the same as business type ID. Something's going on, so we need to figure out how all those necessarily work. And it's not as simple as all that. You've got here Aldi, different things, but it's the same score. So there's something going on. It's not as clear cut. Okay. So we work through that, as I say. This comes along. We need to then expand geocode. So we're going to keep that long. Element text as well. Do we keep element text as well? What's in the element text? Let's expand that and see what that is. Okay, blanks and nulls. Let's get rid of element text from there. We can just go through and delete it from here, and then we just need to delete it from both sides. So we're just going to keep Latin long. Okay, that's fine. New rating pending, true, false, schema type, we don't need that. Scores, let's expand this. This is element text. Rating date, and it's just true. It's interesting. Oh, okay, yeah. These are for ones awaiting inspection, so we've apparently got a date for those. I'm going to delete those because those did not look like dates I knew. Double check, see what those. Rating inspection. Yeah, so it's just saying that it has a date. So a date for, yeah, date has been put in place. Doesn't say when it is. Interesting. So let's delete that one. Got the rating key, rating value, postcode, that's going to be text. I'm just going through and doing all these. Address type 4, text. I should put these through as text, shouldn't I? Okay. So we finally got those done. Here we go. Address 2, 3. That's going to be text. Business type ID is going to be integer. Business type is, of course, going to be text. And this is the last dimension we're going to spin out, is, of course, that. And then we've got the business name, text. Authority ID is text. And the food hygiene rating, blah, 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 is integer. So we've kind of got everything pulled together, haven't we? So we can now rating start point. Okay, and I'm going to disable load on that. And then we're going to reference this. Okay, and remember, one of the things to remember this is these aren't time savings. What I'm doing is just giving me a point to go back and forth to. So for this, because we're going to then branch it through, if you think we went through, we split the original set point into 2. We're going to split this into 2 as well. So what we could do is we could say, right, let's create a new group. Dimensions, or just dims. Click on bother rating, and then put local authority in there. Okay, because we've got that done now, haven't we? Okay. These are going to be the temporary ones at a start point. So we've referenced this now. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep business type ID and business type. And then we're going to right click, remove other columns. Right click and remove duplicates. So we end up with a nice short list. And this is going to be business types. Okay, and then we will put that into dimensions as well. And then for here, we can go right click and we're going to reference it again. And this is going to be establishments, isn't it? So this is really going to be these first few bits here. Okay. Up to here. Oh, I'm holding caps lock instead of shift. I wonder it's not working. Okay, and we'll right click, remove all the columns. So we've just got the information relating to the establishments. Okay, and I can spell. Put that into dimensions as well, and then we'll come back to here, right click, and we're going to reference it again. And this time we're going to keep the food hygiene rating, and we'll keep rating value. I think that's the important one, although we could choose to keep key, but we'll keep value. I'll keep value. I prefer value. I think it looks neater. Again, just me. Could be otherwise. And then I think that's all we need to keep, isn't it? We don't seem to have all those sub-scores anymore, which is confusing me. Have they been dropped? May have been dropped. No one tells me anything. Okay, so we've got that. Right click on there. Remove other columns. We have definitely missed something from the establishments. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create this, move to group, move to a new group, facts. Okay. In establishment, we removed the other columns, but we needed to keep a couple more. Latitude, longitude. Okay, oh. No, it's not double T, is it? There we go. Okay, so we've got those. So we've kind of got everything in there. This is now everything we need for it, and we've got our temporary tables that we used to build it. So what we need to do now is just double check, make sure everything's there. We're going to go home, close and apply. Okay, so refresh has gone through. We've got this here. If we have a look, we can see that it's made an attempt at joining everything together. And my goodness me, what a mess. Looking at what we've got, I think hygiene, structural, and confidence haven't come through correctly, and they're through, but I'm not seeing them I'm not seeing those scores available in the data. Now, could well be XML files have changed. Again, I don't get consulted in what they're doing. I will check the data from the other side, and I'll go through and check what's going on with the build outside of this. But yeah, because we're going to come back and revisit, because we want to build a full report, don't we, with this? But what I thought we would do today is finish this piece off. So if we look, we've got establishments, we've got scores, which then link to this rating value, which is the dimension we talked about, which is what we wanted. This one here, I'm going to make this a one-to-many. Before it's a many-to-one, we're going to make it one-to-many. Based on where it is here, it's a many-to-one, because there's many scores to one establishment. It's the idea. But that way it'll make it easier logically for how it should be. And we've got the business type, and then what we need to do is bring through the local authority, but I've not included that. Have I hidden that for some reason? Let me go into here and transform the data again. We did have local authorities, didn't we? Local authority, name load, yeah, local authority business type. They are both there. Close and apply. Local authority, be there, the one I can't see, even though it's right in front of me. We've got here, and then we will bring in the local authority ID. We have local authorities, we have code, and we have establishments where we have local authority code. So we need to bring those two together. Double check, yep. Hit OK. We have a relationship. So we've got the core model relationships that we're going to need for this to work. Okay, so that's the difficult part done. Right. If you remember as well, we've got a couple of things we need to do under rating, under the establishments. So if we come back to the establishments, sorry, here. Under the establishments, we have latitude and longitude. So if we zoom in, and then what we need to do is under the data classification here, we need to make sure this is down as longitude and this is down as latitude. Okay, so they can then be used to identify places. And this is going to work for us, isn't it? So we can then come back to here and just to test everything. You see, what we could do is we could say, right, for establishments, latitude, longitude. Oh, it's order. Oh, I hate when this does. It's one of these things, I wish we didn't have to deal with it for the sum. So what we want to do is actually say, do not aggregate these. Don't summarize and make that a map. Oh no, there we go, map. Okay. Ah, Visual time. Why did you pick that type of map? Thanks, Power BI. Oh, well, we've got some fantastic ones here. So this is what I was saying, where information is just wrong. Okay, but we've suddenly got, here are all the food establishments in there. And then what we could do is we could bring in the rating value item here, and we could say rating value as the legend. And suddenly we would have, here we go, we can see. So where's waiting inspection? We can see the places waiting inspection. We could do the same for all of them. Right? And suddenly we've built something that we can start to piece together for it. Okay, so we can see we've built this, and that was then the starting point for where we're going to go. So to start with, we need to put a table in, don't we? Okay, so we're going to go back to over here to our tables. Under home, what we can do is we can find here, we're going to enter data, and it'll come back with a blank. These are going to be our DAX expressions. Okay. And then what we'll do to start with is we're going to right click, create a new measure in DAX expressions. Businesses equals count rows of establishments. Oh, I've still not spelled that right. Oh, I give up. And then I will hide column 1. Okay, which then brings this to make it an expressions measure. Then what we can do is we can go new measure, average rating equals average rating in. Okay, it's interesting. I'm going to see if this works, because I don't think this is going to work, because this is the way this would go through. In fact, I know this isn't going to work. Okay, but this is one of those gotchas that we've got. So the average is going to be 2.25, which is, that's not right. Okay, that's just the average of there, isn't it? So if we went through to business types, we would see this doesn't work. So what we need to do with this for the average rating is, this is a classic example where we've got everything we need, but the table we need to run against isn't right. Okay, so what we're actually looking to do with this is, we've already zoomed in, aren't we? So we don't necessarily need to zoom in as small. Should I zoom out and let's zoom in this way? It just makes life easier for me doing it this way. Okay. So we are going to say, firstly, we need to build a table, don't we? Okay. So we need var underscore tbl equals summarize. We're going to do a summarize this time, and we can see there's help text there for it. So we're going to summarize our scores. Okay, so we really want the scores. So we're going to group by, it is, well, scores. Okay, so we're going to group by this. And then what we want is I'm going to go val. Okay, let's go val. And that is going to be lookup value of the scores. not scores, so is it? It's the rating image, isn't it? Rating image, rating int. Okay, close brackets there. Okay, so we've got that. And then what we're going to do is, although we technically don't even need to do all this, this is just kind of what we're doing. I'm going to do var eval equals average x tbl val. Okay, so give us the average x of there, and then return eval. Was that not like? Fix this. What's it not liking? Did not like that at all, did it? What's it not liking with this? Oh, results columns there. Search column is, of course, the rating value, isn't it? Not rating in. Oh, it's going to be rating value, comma, scores. What scores did we leave? Did not leave the rating in. Did I remove everything from the scores table and you didn't tell me? Rating value, yeah. Rating value, yeah. Okay, so here, rating value. Now, where is that saying that? Scores table cannot be determined. Oh. Lookup value, rating image, rating. This is why I get so annoyed with these things. Okay, here we go. Bosh. It helps when I write these things properly, doesn't it? Okay, so what we've suddenly got is the ability, isn't it, that we can pull this together. Now, the thing I liked about this was because in the first one, we had to exclude ones that were exempt or awaiting things from the map. I thought this works really well, doesn't it? So we can now put these together and we see ones that are awaiting inspection or exempt as well. So I think this is much better. Okay, so what we've built here already is we've got the ability now, haven't we, to say, well, we've got this, and if we drop businesses onto here as well, that looks terrible, but what we can do here is we can say, well, actually, what I was looking to do was build something like this, where we wanted to have the rating value on the y-axis. Okay, so we suddenly got the ability to have a count with the average rating, so we can start to piece together and see what's going on. And I think this is useful because this helps you to do things. And what we've also got is the ability that we can bring in here. If we come down to local authority, we could bring in, oh, let's see, put those in. Oh, silly, I hate the way it does this. Bring in the friendly name, not the friendly name, we want the name. The friendly name is the all lowercase piece. And then let's make that a slicer. Okay, so now what we could do is we could say, well, Gateshead, and it shows us these are the establishments in Gateshead. Okay, so we've got, brilliant, we can see what's going on. We can look and we can see we've got average ratings for them. So we're already starting to piece it together. So we'll go and we'll extend from here. Yeah? What do you think? Okay, you need to be 100% clear about modeling and how modeling works when you're doing it. Okay, getting modeling right will make your DAX super simple. Okay, overall, our DAX here is really simple. Like count rows, all we need to do. The average that I've just had to build, that whole average X, cycle is something I can reuse and do stuff with. And in fact, even now, it might be something we can do some things with in terms of UDFs. So there might be something we can do to push that into a UDF cycle, because we can build the average into it or check something. I'll think through the right way to do it. But what we've got now is this ability to factor in what we need to do and to put in the data that we want to put in. Okay. No longer am I trying to say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that as a one-off, because suddenly we've expanded it, right? We've gone the whole of the North East. You saw that was a drop-down selection. All I would need to do if we wanted to go back to England or even further afield to do what else is just change that drop-down. If suddenly I had a colleague contact me from London, oh, I wish we knew what was going on in London, we could, oh, so no problem, just change this one drop-down and off you go. All the measures will work, okay? And that structure is how we process enterprise-wide solutions. It's we work out how do we do this, how can we put that together and build full-scale models that we then filter down to the area of the business that needs it, rather than saying, let's distribute the small little areas that you need, because that way silos be. We build that whole full-scale solution that works consistently across the business and that they can then drill down to the areas they need. We govern, we support, we manage, we build that hyperscale solution that covers the organization. Okay? The organization is rarely going to consume those scale analytics platforms or analytics solutions, but they will benefit from them because the consistency means that because we've got an England food hygiene set, if I look at reports for Newcastle and my friend looks at them for Hackney, we know we've got consistency. The same stuff is being applied through the data coming out from the same model. We haven't got a case where, oh, well, this has been processed this way and that's been processed that way. Consistency. That's what business intelligence is about. Reliance and building that foundational data layer across your organization that you can build your business on. You know, you can't build your business on shaky foundations. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, leave a comment. Let me know down below what you think, what areas you think we should cover. For now, though, stay safe, take care. Ta-da.